All right, where would you like to begin?
I guess I should start out with what happened. And it happened just a couple of days ago. And it happened, um, there was a gathering of a bunch of kids who graduated from high school recently. They all kind of went to the same high school, and my daughter is friends with them. She wasn't at that party, but she's friends with a bunch of the people, including her best friend, Anna. And at a certain point in the evening, um, there was a shooting, and killed were my daughter's best friend Anna, and two boys, and another guy was hurt very badly. Anyway, I found out about it because my daughter had was came home from the mall, and she had seen on her phone that a shooting happened at this home where she knew her best friend was, and so she tried calling her, and there was no answer, and she was frantic. And so I uh, listened, and Anna, her best friend's mom, is my good friend. And so I decided I should go, I should call first and find out if she's okay. And when I called, there was no answer, and I figured I better get over there. I didn't know what I was going to say, but I knew I needed to be there. And sure enough, they had gotten the word by then that Anna had died, had been shot and killed. And I, what words do you say? I didn't know what to say. So I just held her. It seemed to help, but that's all I could do. A lot of other people in a situation like this would run the other way. And I just knew that wasn't the right thing to do for my friend and to honor her daughter. It's just so sad because, you know, has a great family. They did everything right. She wasn't in a dangerous place. But yet these things can happen. Anytime people gather, somebody could go off. And that's what happened. Um, I just need help in figuring out what I can do and how I can help my daughter. My daughter is devastated. She is in shock. I think that's what I would call it, shock. She is not talking a lot. She's just kind of doesn't know how to deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, they're providing counseling to the kids and parents. And maybe you could help me.
Yeah, I cannot imagine how difficult it would be to be in your position and having a best friend and a daughter going through such a painful and shocking experience. And for you too, I'm sure that you're probably experiencing all sorts of feelings around this.
I feel guilty because I still have a daughter and my best friend doesn't anymore. I don't know if I'll ever be able to talk to her about what my daughter is doing, considering her daughter can't do anything anymore.
You don't know what to say to your friend to make things right.
Mm-hmm. Because it's nothing can make it right. It's an ending, and it's just very sad. They found out afterwards that it was Anna's ex-boyfriend who did it. He obviously a troubled guy. He broke up with her a couple months ago, and then he regretted it, and he wanted her back, I guess. And other kids, including my daughter, noticed that he was very controlling. And he had come to the house. He had purchased this automatic rifle um, last week, and he came to the house. He knew the party was there, and he looked in the window and he saw Anna and some guys talking, and he flew into jealous rage basically and went out to his car, read the directions on how to shoot that gun, and went back in and shot all those people, all those kids. And then he got in his car and drove away and got as far as Chehalis before they caught up with him and arrested him. His family is devastated. They never saw this coming. He had never been to target practice. They didn't have guns in their house. Just a random, sad thing.
And you knew Anna very well.
I knew her very well. She was, Girl Scouts with my daughter and in choir, and they were all close-knit. They had all the typical choir activities, and she was a very loved girl.
Yeah. And it sounds like you loved her too.
I did love her. And I do. So what can I do for my daughter, do you think, to help her get over this or deal with it in a healthy way?
Yeah, that's
a question, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a big question. And I think definitely, first and foremost, you really need to help yourself and process what's going on inside, how you're feeling. How are you doing right now with everything that just happened in the past 2 days?
I cry a lot. I'm a crier anyway, but I am crying a lot, and that kind of feels good. I'm trying to get my daughter to talk about it because I know talking is important, and I know that she needs to get help to deal with this. You can't just, especially at that age, be able to process it, I don't think.
Yeah, you have a lot of compassion as you're thinking about your best friend and your daughter, while also dealing with the overwhelming feelings that you are probably experiencing too.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you went to your friend. You said a lot of people would, be afraid of going to her and talking with her, but you went to her.
I think that oftentimes when somebody dies, that people feel like the family needs to be alone. You're not supposed to go there. You're supposed to stay away and let them deal with it themselves. But I don't think that's the case, or so far, that's not what I did anyway. And I just want to be able to, have her know that I'm with her, and I'll do what I can as far as, feed them, make arrangements, funeral arrangements, whatever it is they need. I'd be there for them.
Yeah. You want to help. You want to help her in any way that you can in such a situation.
Yeah. If it I kind of try to put myself in her shoes. If it happened to me, what would I need or want, or what would feel good? But it's so over the top, such a dramatic, sad thing that it's hard to even picture it in your mind. My daughter cries all the time, and she wants to talk about it. And, that's a good thing, I believe, is getting her to talk about it and not be afraid to leave the house,
Yeah.
And I think another good thing is the fact that all of her friends are going through the same thing. And that's a good feeling. There's 3 families who are grieving, and actually the family of the shooter, they're devastated too. Anna was like a daughter to them, and she was well loved, very well loved by everybody.
Yeah, it takes a lot of strength to be able to talk about such a difficult thing with your daughter and your friend, and keep that dialogue going.
I think, yeah, just listening to my friend
Mm-hmm.
is important, so she can talk about her daughter and talk about this situation and what she's going through, because I think it could be very lonely for somebody,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I don't want her to feel lonely.
Yeah, you see that she's lost one of the most important people in her life.
Exactly. Yeah. And I can relate. I mean, what if my daughter had been there? She could have been the victim.
Yeah. Yeah. You have a lot of empathy for her and what's going on. You picture
Myself.
it being you.
Yeah, in her place, definitely. And it's just so hard to imagine what you can do to make it better. It's not going to get better.
Yeah. So you're feeling a little helpless.
I feel helpless. The kids had scattered because they had already graduated from high school and they were all going off to different colleges. They were just home for the summer, and they're going to continue to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, that's good that they're not going back to the school and finding their friends not there. And in that regard, I'm kind of glad for the timing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you did earlier, you mentioned a few of the things that you would do to make your friend's life better and your own daughter's life better. And
Yeah, I've been thinking of, it's so hard to come up with anything. The only thing I've come up with is the possibility of starting a GoFundMe campaign and to help pay for funeral expenses.
It's a great idea.
We're so lucky that we live in this day and age that that's even a possibility.
Yeah.
Because that's the last thing they need to have money problems on top of everything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That would be a really nice way to show that you're really going to be there for your friend in a time when she's lost, and your daughter in a time when they've lost such a significant person in their lives, to bring a bunch of people together to mourn. And I think sharing that togetherness is going to be, it's going to fill a bit of the void, maybe.
I think
That's
so
a really great idea.
I think that's also why people have funerals, is because you just need, and they call it closure, I guess, I don't know, but in a situation like this, if everybody gets together, I'm going to encourage my daughter to be with her friends as much as possible, and because they're all going through, there's something that it feels good about going through it with somebody else.
Yeah. Sometimes these things can bring us closer together.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows? For forever, maybe. But I will probably be at my friend's doorstep time and time again, just to check in with her and let her talk as much as she wants. Give her a hug and hold a hand and whatever it takes. And my daughter as well. Just, middle of the night or whenever it is that it might hit her a bit, I need to be able to listen. And I'm mourning too, so I'll be able to share that with her, and that probably is a good thing.
Yeah. Earlier, we pointed out that you were feeling helpless, but then since pointing that out, you've mentioned so many ways that you are being so helpful to your friend and your daughter and the people in your community.
Yeah. Community is all suffering for this. I can't imagine what the poor family of the shooter is going through. I mean, they have the same last name. So when they go to pick up their dry cleaning, they probably get a second look, you know? Must be hard.
Thank you so much for meeting with me.
Well, thank you for helping me. It's been good to talk.
Yeah, come back anytime.
I see the benefit.
Yeah.
I'll bring my daughter next time.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you.